Hello, everyone. I'm John Seroka with Seroka Brand Development and also the Mortgage Technology and Marketing Committee Chair. And welcome to our webinar today, How to Build Agent Partnerships and Leverage Technology for Massive Growth. Ladies and gentlemen, two things top producing loan officers have in common are exceptional relationship building skills and the use of innovative technologies that enable them to outperform their peers. Among the most important relationships loan officers can build for long-term success is agent partnerships. So today, we have two premier industry experts to talk about building powerful agent marketing partnerships and leveraging innovative technology. So you are going to learn. You can jump to the next screen, please. One more screen. All right, so we're going to learn today how to build and retain profitable co-marketing relationships, how to recruit top producing agents, how to demonstrate your value to potential partners, how to maximize lead generation and conversion through co-marketing, how to educate home buyers on finance options, and how to complete more transactions faster and with greater customer satisfaction. So with us today, I am thrilled to present to you Sue Woodard, the Chief Customer Officer at Total Expert, and Dave Savage, the founder of Mortgage Coach. So by way of some background, this webinar is a production of the Mortgage Technology and Marketing Committee. The committee was formed to support the development and dissemination of new technologies and marketing strategies that the mortgage industry needs to embrace. As we go through this, please submit your questions and I will direct them to the right individual as they come up. Or you can wait until the Q&A at the very end. With that, over to you, Dave.
Love it. Thank you, John, for the great opening. Could you confirm that you guys can hear me?
Sure can.
I can hear you, Dave. We gotcha.
Oh, all right. So, hey, Sue, it's awesome to be on this online virtual stage together. I know we got to do this recently at the CalX Point event and looking forward to doing it again.
We did. Sounds good, Dave. And I know you're going to kick us off with some great things, and then I'm going to follow behind you. And then again, we'll hopefully have some good dialogue, questions, and conversation with the folks on the call today.
Great. So Sue, by the way, please interrupt me anytime. The more conversational we can make this, the better. Also, folks, both Sue and I, when we're not talking, we will be monitoring the Q&A section. So feel free to post questions. And heck, if we have time, we can even unmute some of you and bring you in. So it's not just a text question, raise your hand and we'll try to bring you in. So again, my name is Dave Savage, CEO of Mortgage Coach. One of the ways that I wanted to bring value today is it's not what I think, it's what our community thinks. So at Mortgage Coach, I have the honor that we serve a lot of the nation's top producers. 34% of the top 1% are part of our community. And one of the things I like to do is educate, turn the concept of being a teacher and an educator into a competitive advantage. I mean, that's how I founded Mortgage Coach, and that's what we do today. So I interview top loan officers literally weekly. I interview industry leaders. And I want to start this whole conversation around some takeaways I've had so far this year. I interviewed Todd Duncan to kick off the year, and he shared, what are his 5 keys to success in 2018. I interviewed Darren Hardy, former editor of Success Magazine. What are the keys to success in 2018? And then the most viewed interview I've done this year was someone that I've never interviewed before this year. His name is Steve Brown. He was the former futurist for Intel. So interesting that the #1 interview I've done this year was a guy who was the former futurist of Intel technology. That was my #1 most watched, most viewed interview. Also did a LinkedIn post on that. And I want to share some of the takeaways that I think are relevant to kick off this call with Sue and I, and how you should be using technology to give yourself a competitive advantage with both realtors and with borrowers. And we are going to focus on both. I think it's critical. So when you look at the trends, there are dozens of trends that are impacting society today. But when you look at what are the trends that are impacting the mortgage industry, it's big data, artificial intelligence, multi-channel communication, text, email, Facebook, And then, of course, voice technology. That is the future. You know, think Apple's new home product. Think of, you know, Amazon's product, voice technology. Now, the first big takeaway that I want everybody to get from this call is that technology is changing fast. According to Moore's Law, we're going to see more change over the next 10 years than we had seen in the previous 50 years. So think about that. And then to think one level deeper, we're going to see more change over the next 2 years than we've seen in the previous 10 years. So think about that. What happened 10 years ago, or maybe 11 years ago? That's when the iPhone came out. So think about how much the world's changed. Think about how much your job as a loan officer's changed. Think about, you know, what was Zillow 10 years ago? What is Zillow today? And now we have Amazon coming into the mortgage space. Things are changing fast. I mean, literally, seems like every week I get a new, you know, press release, a new news alert that impacts realtors and loan officers. And so lots of changes happening fast. And that means you as mortgage professionals, you need to change fast. You need to change your skills. You need to change your habits. And most importantly, you need to change the sales experience that you bring to borrowers and realtors. So big takeaway from my interview, just giving you some cliff notes, is that if you knew that everything that could be automated, could be eliminated, that's redundant, that's repetitive, it's gonna be gone. And all you have left is your human interaction. What does that mean? You know, that means you need to be leveraging your CRM, the expert mortgage coach, your solutions more than ever, better than ever. The other big takeaway from the interview, I love this, is I asked Steve, hey Steve, as mortgage professionals, whether I'm a loan officer, branch manager, regional, CEO, what industry should I be watching? And he said retail. And he said, think of Amazon, technology-driven retailer. Think Quicken. Think Walmart, big banks, brick and mortar solutions. You know, so those are two industries we need to watch as mortgage professionals, and we need to respond because it's coming quick. You know, so start thinking about, you know, who is your competition as a mortgage professional? It's changing, and it's changing rapidly. So a couple takeaways, you know, before I bring Sue in, is that the lender and the loan officer with the most digital friends wins biggest. So start thinking, what does it mean to have a borrower that's a digital friend? You know, a couple takeaways are that means you know their preferences of communication. You've got not just an email, but you know their mobile number. You can text them. You know how to communicate on Facebook Messenger if that's how they want you to communicate. So they downloaded your apps so that they know how to conduct business with you in a professional and efficient way. The other big takeaway is you have to start gathering data relentlessly so that you can customize and personalize. You know, if you want to be successful against, you know, mortgage companies that are technology companies as a, call it referral-based local lender, loan officer, borrower, realtor, you need to collect data like never before so that you can mass customize and personalize. So another strategic thought before I share a couple specific strategies is right now, most loan officers and most lenders, and this kind of speaks to the conversation we had earlier, Sue, is that they have technology and then there's human adoption. And right now, even the fact that some of the best technology hasn't been rolled out, loan officers, people on this call aren't using it at the level that you need to. You've got more tech than you're using. Well, here's the vision and the leadership I bring to this conversation today is that 2020 is a place where, you know, you're really going to start feeling the pain. Think of it as you're in this race and there's loan officer A, there's loan officer B. You're both trying to get to the same destination. One, you know, you have a choice. Do I want to run uphill with the wind at my face, or do I want to run downhill with the wind at my back? You have an option. And if you don't leverage technology, if you don't collect data like never before, you are basically making the choice, I'm running uphill with the wind at my face. Now let's face it, in order to change your behaviors, you know, to go downhill, you got to get off your bike, you got to walk it across the boulder pile, because you do need to change some of your habits and some of your strategies. And so what Sue and I want to really focus on is what can you do? First of all, what is the bullseye? What is a modern loan officer? And a modern loan officer on the screen right here is someone that collects key data on clients so they can customize and personalize things like a total cost analysis, and I'll explain what that is in a minute. Things like an annual mortgage review. By the way, at the beginning of the year, I did a LinkedIn post saying why I believed that should be every referral-based local loan officer's #1 priority. And the clip notes to that are, if you know that lenders are going to be able to, communicate in multi-channel ways with clients, you know that voice technology is getting to a point where a family will be able to call a number to get a rate quote, and within a couple of years, they won't know whether they're talking to man or machine. That's where voice technology is going. So if you know that that's true, and you know that that's happening, you need to have not only, a digital friend, but you need to connect with them. You need to let people know that you care. It means annual reviews. I am seeing a resurgence in the number of families that are meeting our loan officer in person. So I'm going to focus on this, and I'm going to hand it off to Sue. Multi-channel. You need to be a multi-channel mortgage professional. So takeaway #1 is I want you to think of the past 20 borrowers that you met. And I want you to ask yourself with confidence, do I know their preferred way of communication between text, email, Facebook, or whatever? Do I know 90% of those families, what's their preferred channel of communication? By the way, if the answer is not quickly, absolutely, of course I do, then I would just say that's a takeaway from today's call. You need to get there quickly, and you need to get that data in your CRM. By the way, I would love for people in the Q&A, so we know you're engaged. If the answer is yes, Dave, I've got that handled. One, I would like to know what is the most common preferred channel that your clients want. So please share that in Q&A right now. Let us know what the preferred channel is for most of your borrowers right now. So now let's talk about a touch point that we've innovated at Mortgage Coach, and that is the fee worksheet, mortgage options. This is not a great multi-channel way to communicate, PDF. It's a rate quote. This is just an example. Most loan officers, they have their own Excel spreadsheets. They've got all kinds of, call it disparate, unique ways in which they quote rates. At Mortgage Coach, we believe that when you quote rates, it should be graphs and charts. It should be a native mobile experience. You should be able to stream video. You turn things that you're doing, like average loan officers, yesterday's loan officers, are quoting rates like everybody else. But the best loan officers are turning those, call it those everyday experiences, into valuable experiences and services. So if you have a client and you're not meeting them in person and they're self-educating, again, give them a link. You can send it through any channel. They click on that link. Think about it, whether they click on it from a mobile device, Android, iOS, or they click on it from a desktop, they're getting a native multi-channel experience. That's what a modern loan officer does. This is an example of how you can use technology to give yourself a competitive advantage. And again, if you're meeting someone in person, this is another takeaway. Most mortgage companies now, they have their own app, that helps families apply for a loan with an app, helps the family take pictures of documentation and just have the most efficient and effective experience. And then the clients that use Mortgage Coach, they also have the Mortgage Coach app. And again, lots of lenders have multiple apps. So if you're going to have the opportunity to meet with a client in person, make sure that they walk out of that experience with your apps downloaded and understanding how to use it. So like, this is a loan officer in Seattle, Washington, Jay Crowell, one of the top loan officers in the country. When he meets with the client, he brings 50% of them still come into his office. He has a borrower consultation. And now when they leave his office, they have that app downloaded. It's updated. This is just a great example of how you could differentiate your, call it, in-office experience. This is Denise Donahue in Dallas, Texas, meeting with a first-time home buyer in a coffee shop. Again, using technology to educate, to be a teacher. Again, my belief is that the best loan officers are the best teachers and the best educators. And then taking that same experience, not just with a buyer, but with a realtor. My computer is freezing up, so I'm not able to move it from one screen to the next. But think about when you meet with realtors, having the opportunity to educate them. I'm seeing a huge trend in the number of loan officers that are using iPads as part of their, educational sales experience. By the way, I would love to get some perspective and feedback in Q&A. If you are using an iPad as a sales tool, as an educational tool with realtors and borrowers, let us know what you're doing and how you're using it. So, by the way, my slides have frozen up, Sue. So this is actually, I have a couple more, but it is a good jumping off spot for me to hand it off to you. I know you've got some insights to share. You have some takeaways. If you have any comments so far, feel free.
Yeah, well, I think, you're hitting on some really important things. And, we were chatting before, everybody else came on the line about, we were out at MBA Tech and you're asking what the big takeaway was. And really for me, it was very interesting listening to some of the leadership out there on the lending side who are almost, afraid to lead their loan officers into technology, feeling like, well, they may not adopt it, they may not like it. But, folks like those on this call are the ones who, quite honestly, are the ones who are leading the charge and embracing technology, because this is how you're going to win in the years to come. So with that, yeah, if you're ready to pop over to me, Dave, I can show my screen and get going on my end. You guys will have to let me know.
I have thrown you the screen. Go ahead and grab it, Sue. And then, folks, whenever it comes to events like this, you've dedicated an hour to be with us. The way you're going to get the most value is to ask questions. When Sue or myself kind of reaches out, participate. We want to make this a valuable hour. So, we want to share ideas, but we want to hear from you. By the way, Sue, if you could switch to the other monitor, I'm seeing your speaker notes.
I know, I'm trying to, I don't know why that even popped up that way. Hang on one second.
And
no problem,
you know what,
guys.
Dave, if I can jump in real quick here, a question just came in, and somebody was asking, should I be using an iPad?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you for whoever asked that question. I think, it depends on you. It depends on your market. If you feel like you're in a market where that would be a useful tool, absolutely. If you're someone that you feel like that's a great way to communicate, absolutely. It's a growing trend. I'm also seeing a lot of iPads in open houses. Paperless open houses is a massive trend. I actually interviewed Nicole Solari. She's only been in the mortgage business only been a realtor for 4 years out of Napa, California. She did 200 loans last year, sold 200 homes. And by the way, her number one referral source was open houses. And her number one strategy was paperless open houses. So I would say if you're going to pull that off, you absolutely need an iPad, because you need to be able to have that conversation with a realtor. Hey, realtor, let me show you how to do a paperless open house and how to collect data, so that when people come to your open house, you're not just giving them paper that they throw in the backseat of their car and never look at. By the way, that's assuming it even makes it to the backseat of their car. You're actually getting them to fill out a form on their iPad, and then you're delivering advice to educate them. So that would be my answer. Sue, any comments for you on that?
Yeah, no, I think, nowadays it's not even a matter of if, it's just, how are you going to use it? Right now I saw some stats, I think it's in this presentation even, that the average number of devices that a human being has is between 3 and 4. So between the wearables, the tablets, the phones, the laptop, there's so many different devices that people are using. And I think it's whatever makes you portable, whatever makes you fast, whatever makes you responsive. That's the name of the game in a competitive market. So makes a lot of sense to me. And with that in mind, I'm going to jump into some of the topics that I want to cover today. Some of the fears I've heard from people, a lot of loan officers will say openly, hey, I'm not worried about technology replacing me. But, later that night, when you're talking to them at a conference, kind of, they say, gosh, you know what, I am a little bit worried about what does the future of this industry look like. And, Dave and I have talked a lot about this, and here's what we believe is that technology is not going to replace the loan officer, but the loan officer is leveraging technology, certainly that. And you can even take that to another level and say the loan officer who's leveraging technology to add real value will replace the one who is not. So I think that's kind of the critical differentiator there, very much like Dave was just talking about, is it's not just having technology, it's how are you using it and how are you using it to add value to your partnerships as well as to the customers that you're working with. So, a couple of things that I want to share. And Dave, as always, I know you never hesitate to interrupt me, so this should be no different. Feel free to jump in as you like and share some of your insights as well. But there's a quick 6 that I'm going to share with you in terms of, as you're working with your partners, some of both the reasons and the way that you want to make sure that you are leveraging technology when you're working with your partners, because of some of the really interesting dynamics that we have going on in the industry right now. One of the first one is multi-apping. Very interesting. I was reading the most recent Zillow housing report, and it was interesting how the statistic was written. It actually said that 50% of customers only apply with one lender. But when you think about, turn that around, that means that 50% are applying with more than one lender. And as you know, Dave and I agree, as we've been out there and talking to different loan officers in the business, most great originators are saying that they actually estimate that figure to be a good bit higher. Part of that is because of technology, it's become so simple to apply for a loan that when somebody's getting in the market and thinking about, hey, I'm going to buy a house, it's become very easy to click button, get mortgage. And so one of the big dynamics, and this is definitely impacting for your referral partners as well, if we've got our leads out there that are multi-apping multiple places, it causes a risk both for us and for our referral partners in terms of, you know, hanging on to that lead. And this is where technology becomes critically important in terms of responsiveness to that lead. I know our friend Josh at Accelerate, CEO of Accelerate, used a statistic that it was 73% of the time whoever gets to that lead first and is responsive to them and stays in touch with them, that person's going to get that lead. So your speed to response is critical, as well as staying in contact with them, because we know that they're likely applying a multitude of different places. So you want to hang on to it, protect your relationship, and protect it on behalf of your referral partner as well. Second thing that's happening is, I think it's not news to anyone on this call that leads are staying in our pipeline a lot longer than they used to, simply because there's such a shortage of inventory. With such a shortage of homes to be able to buy, people are coming into your lead pipeline and other people's leads pipeline, you know, going back to that multi-apping point, and they're staying in that pipeline much longer. So it becomes really critical. How do you utilize technology to ensure that you and your referral partner maintain that lead? Because they so easily can get swept away elsewhere because it's taking a long time, and sometimes a very frustratingly long time, to that lead, to that client who's out there searching for a home and having a tough time. So what I think is a critical piece of this is utilizing technology, co-branded marketing on behalf of you and your real estate agent to ensure that you're staying in touch with them on a very consistent and repetitive messaging as they're in your lead pipeline. There's something about frequency leading to familiarity, and familiarity leading to trust. The more that you're in contact. And, yes, sir.
Actually, I didn't mean to cut you off midstream like that.
That's okay.
Finish your thought there, and I do want to add something right here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just a piece on that is, I think, you know, when you're in contact with your clients that are in that lead pipeline, and they're seeing you, they're seeing your referral partner, and they're seeing that partnership and that connection between you and your real estate agent, that's where you're going to start to really breed trust. And trust is so heavily lacking, I think, in the, you know, just the world that we're operating in now. And certainly there still is a lack of trust, I think, on the part of a lot of, we're going to talk about millennials in a minute, as they're coming into that home buyer experience. And the more that they're seeing and hearing from you and from that real estate agent, you're really reiterating, hey, we're here, we're being consistent, we're consistent with our message, and we're building trust. And the only way you can really do that on a scalable way to be building that trust with someone by having that consistency and repetition is with leveraging technology. And certainly I'm partial to Total Expert, which is an enterprise level system, but whatever it is that you're utilizing out there, having that technology helping you with that automated and consistent repetitive approach while that lead is in your pipeline is just absolutely critical. So Dave, you had comment.
Yeah, I want to jump in because this is such a big deal right now where folks have bigger pre-approval funnels than ever before. Buyers are getting buyer fatigue. It's taking longer. It's taking not just weeks, it's taking months. So a couple tactics for everybody on the call right now. And I just know this because the way we develop product and the way we put video into our platform is such that, hey, the loan officer can quote rates. And if you use technology to quote rates TBD before the home's in escrow, and for example, if the clients downloaded your app, if you gave them a video, now you can update that video. And so like I interviewed a top loan officer, John Downs, $100 million producer. And, he said one of the things that he loved about putting technology into his pre-approval borrower situation is he said, hey, I used to call people up, and actually it was like one of the things I like to do the least because I felt like I'm bugging people. Hey, I'm calling them up every 2 weeks and saying the same thing. Well, because he started using technology in his sales process, he was able to update the video, update the video. And again, it speaks to everything that you're doing, Sue, consistency, repetition,
Yep.
using video to communicate with the client. Just a huge takeaway, and something that if you're not doing that, if you are not delivering a technology-based advice experience, you're missing huge opportunity and you're not serving your clients.
100%. And you know what? I'm so glad that you brought up video, because I think it leads very naturally to my next point. We are clearly in a purchase market, right? The refis are, more or less gone for the foreseeable future, at least in terms of a, source of business that we can really count on. So we're in a purchase market, and a purchase market by its nature requires more personal nurturing. Now, how do you do that with technology? Dave just hit one of the nails on the head there, talking about video. Video is the #1 most consumed asset out there. And video is proven to be one of the most natural conversion sources in terms of a lead, because it is being taken as a very personal connection. In fact, as you're watching me, I'm staring at my camera, but it probably actually feels like it's very personal, and I feel like it's personal because I know you're actually seeing my face as we're here talking together today. So I'm a huge fan of BombBomb. I know a lot of you have probably heard of BombBomb's video marketing. If you haven't, don't even pass go, collect $200, get on BombBomb and actually check out their video tool and get on board with that. That ability to have that personal connection with your buyer, and in reinforcing that real estate agent relationship. And even when you're connecting with your real estate agent, using video is absolutely critical, because it is seen and felt as such a personal touch, but you're utilizing technology instead of actually, physically having to have that personal touch all the time. So check out BombBomb. Total Expert has a great integration to BombBomb, which is really exciting, but you can get BombBomb just on your own as well. So certainly check that out in terms of that personal nurturing. In line with that purchase market connection too, that realtor relationship is absolutely critical. Your relationship with the realtor and you supporting that relationship with the realtor. Kind of an interesting stat that I got from the 2017 NAR Homebuyer Survey. Kind of interesting things here. In 2016, 17% of people bought from the same agent they had used before, but in 2017, that went down to 12%. Okay. Next one, 2016, 52% of purchases were referral to an agent, whereas in 2017, 42% was actually a referral to an agent. So big difference there. You can see how that's declining. The kicker to this is that 89% of people actually said they definitely work with their realtor again or refer their realtor, but that's not happening. Why is that not happening? It's because that realtor is not staying in touch. So this is a way, again, when you're co-marketing with a realtor, whatever system that you are using, and you're building that relationship with the realtor and helping them with that co-marketing, it's critical because they need that repeat business. They need that referral business that people are saying that they'll do, and they're simply not doing it because they're not on the mind of that buyer at the right time. So you can help with that. Next thing in terms of the purchase market is just the time sensitivity. And it's interesting, as I said earlier, hearing that stat that your responsiveness to a lead, 73% of the time who responds to that lead first is going to actually get the deal. And also, how are you using technology to ensure that you're being very responsive to your real estate partner? Give you a great example. This is coming from the McKinsey or Active Rain Realtor Survey. When realtors were asked, how competitive does your lender partner's pricing need to be? Vast majority of people said at market. Some said price doesn't even matter. So when you look at this, it's roughly, almost 88, 90% are saying, hey, at market or even a little bit worse than market, that doesn't matter that much to me. What does matter to them is quick response from a loan officer. I thought this was pretty fascinating. It was within 24 hours or absolutely less was the standard. It's not like you got a couple of days to respond to people. 7% said, I need to hear back from that person immediately. 20% within an hour. 28% within 2 to 3 hours, same day. So it's critical, your time sensitivity and your ability to respond very, very quickly. The only way that you can do that is to be utilizing technology, whether that's you making a quick call back because you've got the ability to with the technology that you have, even if it's your smartphone or your device or whatever it is, or more importantly, I think having systems in place that when a lead comes in the door, that there's an automatic response that goes out to that lead. They know that you've got it and you're getting notified so that you can get in touch with that contact. Dave, anything that you wanted to add on that before I move on to the next point?
Well, I mean, I think the thing I want to make is, I think everybody on this call, like, this, a lot of what we're sharing, it's like, it, but yet you're not doing it. So, well, and by the way, a lot of people on this call are doing it. So, one thing I want to insert at this moment is that, if you want to start leveraging technology better, your CRM, your mortgage coach, get clear on your why, why, and also get clear on your why not. The more clear you can get on why I'm not doing this, why should I do this, actually take the time to write it down. I mean, that's one of the reasons why at Mortgage Coach, we created what we call the Mortgage Coach Why Worksheet. And if you go to our website, do a search, Mortgage Coach Why Worksheet, you can see an example of that. But I think a lot of things, I listen to myself talk and I know what I talked about. I listen to you, Sue, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so obvious, that loan officers need to do this stuff, but yet still less than 70% or less than 30% of our industry is doing it. So I do want to throw one question out there to everybody. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I'm a modern mortgage professional. I use my CRM daily. I am leveraging technology in my sales experience. I'm building digital friends. If you're like a 10, let us know in questions, what your score is. If you're less than a 5, you're a 3. By the way, I'm not going to call you out, but I would like to know on this call right now, 1, do you know how to use this technology called GoToWebinar? And 2, where are you as a modern mortgage professional? And we're going to do Q&A in a few minutes, and I'll hopefully get some ammo. So keep it rocking, Sue. You did a great job.
Yeah, you got it. Well, let's keep rocking forward here. And again, as I said, some of this, there's so many different tools out there, and neither Dave or I are here to give you a product pitch that it has to be any particular product. There's lots of different things out there that you can use, but the most important thing is that you are using something, and what is it? So moving forward a little bit into demographics. Pretty interesting things. I want to talk about demographics on 2 fronts real quick. Number 1. A lot of people bandy about this term that, the average age of a loan officer is 55, 56 years old, and it actually is younger than that. And it kind of bums me out because I thought I was actually younger than the average loan officer by just a hair, but I guess not. Very interesting. Stratmore just did this study, and I wanted to share this because not a lot of people have seen this yet. But the average age of a first-time home buyer down at the bottom is 39. Average age of a refinance customer is 51. But the average age of a purchaser is 46, except for the first-time home buyers. The average age of a loan officer is actually 46 and a half. Pretty interesting stuff. And again, this is straight from Stratmore. And so the reason why that I think this is important is, again, there's a lot of people that have this feeling of, the average age of a loan officer is 55, 56%. They're not going to get down with technology, but it's very interesting. It's actually 46%. But what people talk about is the millennials coming into the business as well, because they're coming in. Real estate agents have the same thing. The things I've seen from NAR do say that the average age of a realtor is about 55, 56 years old. And so how are they relating to the home buyers that are coming in that are millennials between 20 and 34 years old. A couple interesting things on that. This is where technology, of course, becomes absolutely critical. When you look at millennials as buyers, so how you and your real estate partner are approaching millennials as buyers, we know that they're renting longer, and we certainly know that their digital capabilities are very different than what they've been in the past. So their expectations of how you show up on a digital basis, both you and that real estate agent, is going to be absolutely critical, as well as your online presence. What do you look like online? How do you appear to them online? Because millennials are absolutely doing their research with you and their real estate agent before they're choosing to work with you. Very critical that you have a brand that they can identify with. Everybody talks about that millennials are very brand sensitive. They care about what you're involved in. And so you need to really think about, how do you show up with your technology? Do you seem like you're a modern loan officer, to Dave's point? Does your realtor partner look like they're a modern realtor that's going to be able to attract and work with this group? So one takeaway that I would give you on this piece is to get with your realtor and really do a good audit of your and your realtor's. How does your technology show up to somebody who's checking you out online? One of the greatest favors you could do for your realtor partners is to do a little audit. Go on their website, try applying, fill out some information to get some information back on their website. How quickly does it come back? Have somebody audit yours, or audit your own, audit your company. What happens when you actually apply for a loan? What happens when somebody reaches out to contact you via what you're showing online? And see what the response is. How long does it take? What kind of information is coming through? And is this something that, whatever your technology is that you're using, whatever you're using for your website, for your responsiveness, for your automated marketing, how does that appear? So do a little audit for your real estate agents, and do that audit for yourself, or better yet, get a millennial to check out your brand, your image, your responsiveness. What is it like to apply for a loan with you, and get a really honest assessment of that, and see if you need to up your game in terms of technology. I think one of the important things that is coming as far as the millennials go, people have talked about this, and you've probably heard of it as well, the great wealth transfer. There's $30 trillion of assets that is going to be transferred in the coming years from the boomers to the millennials. And so any of those millennials that are renting longer in the basements of those parent houses are going to be coming out of the basement over the years to come and spending a lot of money. So important to get in front of them quickly. Last piece that I would share here, or almost last piece, and Dave, I'll just switch back over to you. Anything that you wanted to add to that? I've got just a couple minutes more before we go to some more questions.
No, you keep going, wrap it up, and then we'll do Q&A in a few minutes. Keep it going.
You got it. Okay, next thing is just the consumer is obviously demanding a better experience. What the consumer is looking for is what's called an omni-channel approach. Multi-channel means that you are utilizing different channels with your technology, which is another really good audit point. What do you look like on social? How are you utilizing email? Are you using any voice technology? All of the different channels that there are out there to communicate with your customers. The omni-channel approach means that you're consistent across all of those channels, and that the consumer is having the consistent experience with you. Meaning that if they were to text you, you're not a different person than who they're seeing online, or who's emailing to them. So again, it's another audit point that you can take with yourself to see if you need to up your game, or if you need to help your referral partners up their game in terms of technology, because the consumer absolutely is expecting a consistent experience across all the channels. So not just when you're talking about what media are you using, but it's also across devices. I know I mentioned this early on. Multi-device ownership, the average number of devices owned per person is 3.64. So again, whether you've got your wearable, your tablet, your this, your that, you have to make sure that you look good on all those channels too. Another great place that you can help your real estate agents is to do an audit of them. Check them out on your laptop, on your tablet, on your phone, and on your desktop to see how do they appear, and help them figure out if they need to up their game in terms of technology. Final piece that I would just share is that as we're talking about leveraging technology in order to deepen those relationships, with co-marketing, with helping them audit their own digital brand and their own digital technology that they're using, and helping your referral partners up their game. It's also really important to remember that technology is there to automate all of the things that can be automated so that you can elevate the things that only a human being can do. Because purchasing a home is still a very, very uniquely personal process. This is where they live, where their life happens, where their family lives. And so if you can automate all of these things, you can elevate yourself and your referral partner to be there at the time that people actually really want that critical human touch. You know, a couple of things, couple of quotes I'll share. McKinsey and Company said that, hey, when it comes to our money, we're more than likely going to always want to talk to a human, especially when it's a lot of money. NerdWallet said, shopping real life mortgage rates and home lenders online is much harder than it sounds, and it gets even more difficult if you want to get a real mortgage rate. So I think looking at the difference between technology is critical to what we're doing so that it can elevate that human experience. You know, technology can personalize, but a human being is the one who can make that experience personal. Only you and your real estate agent can actually really make that experience personal to that buyer. Technology can help you meet expectations, but the human is what's going to actually exceed the expectations. Technology can predict, human can surprise with something that you maybe show up at closing with. Technology can confirm, human being can smile. And again, technology is going to automate, but only a human being can really elevate and innovate. And I like to say it this way, that, hey, technology is how we do things, but people are why we do things. And that's why we're in this business. So Dave, I'll turn it back over to you, and we've probably got some, hopefully some questions coming in from the audience.
Well, we do have a lot of questions coming in. This is John, by the way. Oh my gosh, what great information you guys today. You two are so impressive. So impressive. And
I'm gonna come hang out with you more often.
Sue, I love hanging out with you. So I have some questions here that came in, and let's go right over to those. First one here is, how do you keep from over messaging and stepping on each other's toes? That question came in, by the way, probably about 15 minutes ago.
Well, I'll give you my answer, and I know David's probably got a answer with this as well. I think, as I said, one of the most important takeaways I would do as an originator walk away from this call is to do a technology audit with your partners. And that would entail looking at what is your messaging, what's your process, what do you have as a workflow, and where should we be doing this jointly and together so that we're not stepping on each other's toes. I think, again, there's so many great tools that are out there that help you co-market and co-brand. Always important to do that in a really compliant way like we do at Total Expert. But it's so important to take a look at what are they doing, what are you doing, and how can you be doing that together. So I would line up with all of my referral partners a technology audit and a marketing audit, look at what you're doing, and then put together a great game plan.
Well, I think that's a great idea. You know, I think back on an interview I did with a realtor. I think he's in Indiana. His name's Glenn Bill. And the title of that interview is, what do realtors really think about loan officer marketing? And I mean, it's, you know, it's been watched thousands of times on our YouTube channel. But I think it's just a gut call, you know, like put yourself in the shoes of your client. By the way, I'm not suggesting you don't do the audit and include your clients and partners. I think you should do that. But I also think that you should like really step back every once in a while and go, okay, what did I send out to my realtors over the past 3 to 6 months? And really put yourself in their shoes, you know, realize, you know, that they're getting hundreds of emails a day. They have lots of loan officers sending them lots of different content, and really put yourself in their shoes. And again, to Sue's point, absolutely, you know, include them. You know, when you have that annual meeting with them, go, you know, how often do you want me to communicate? And just make sure you're very on point with people. And then that brings up another thought, especially when you're meeting with a borrower at the point of sale. You know, not only is it important for you to ask them, hey, what channels do you prefer? Text, email, Facebook. Let's get them to download our apps. But ask them, you know, because here's the answer. The answer is different for everybody. And if you want to differentiate against the technology companies that are doing mortgages, you differentiate by tailoring your service and your communication strategy to your clients, because you know them, you ask them, and you're really thoughtful about that. So first of all, whoever asked that question, great question. I do believe too much information is just as dangerous to trust in selling as too little information. So be very thoughtful, but you know, tailor it for the needs of each client.
Right on.
Great. Great, thank you both. Another question came in for both of you. Great point about using technology to prepare for a better in-person presentation. Can Dave or Sue expand on how to create human connections like meetings and presentations through digital channels? It seems that digital and in-person channels could be strategically used to complement each other.
Well, Dave, why don't you take that?
Go, Sue?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to share my desktop really quick on that one, because I think, you know, the best in-office experience, not only today, but in 2020 and beyond, it's what the client wants, and it's high touch and it's high tech. So like this particular experience is a top loan officer in the DC market, Jennifer Duplessis. She's meeting with a realtor. Before that meeting, she didn't know, you know, high touch, high tech, what the client wants. So, you know, she's got it all. She's got paper, she's got iPad, she's got HP 12C. So I think, you know, kind of looking back at how do you create the best experience, you want to have this high touch, high tech experience. But I also think there is a time where you don't have technology. So for example, in this picture right here, you know, Jay has his iPad. But, you know, to start off that conversation when you're rapport building, when you're asking questions, what are your hopes and dreams? What are your goals? The technology is not there. In fact, I would say put your phone in a drawer, put your technology out of view so that, you know, you're person to person, knee to knee, present. And then when it comes to present your strategies, you know, you pull the tech out and you have the technology. But I think the best loan officers are the ones that balance that really well. Yeah. And they do both. But again, don't start the conversation with text. Start the conversation human being to human being. That's a thought I have. I'll throw it back to you, Sue.
Yeah, another thought I would have is just literally what we're doing right now. I think this is a brilliant way to combine high tech with high touch. So I would say if you don't have, as an originator, if you don't have a Zoom account or go-to, get one. Because this is a brilliant way when you're wanting to show something on your screen, talk something through with your customers, but you're able to actually both, you know, see each other. I mean, again, Dave is somewhere, at least I'm sure, warmer than here in Minnesota, but we're able to at least see each other's faces as we're talking through these things. And this is to me, this is a great way to have both high tech and high touch, where your customer can actually really see you. You can bring in your real estate agent. And so again, Zoom and GoTo has gotten incredibly cheap for individual accounts. And so personally, I'd say that would be a very easy way to institute high tech and touch into your presentations.
Love it.
Great, thanks, Sue. Hey, you know what? Another really great question came in right about the time, Dave, when you were talking about writing down your why you want to use technology, coming up with your why, which I think is really a critical component, something that every individual should do to develop their own, personal brand, if you will. But what should I say to borrowers that's different in this marketplace? So I think that this person is trying to understand how they should differentiate themselves. What can they say?
Got it. So I'll give a couple thoughts on this. One, I think in today's marketplace, you do need to connect on a human level more than ever. And by the way, that sounds like duh, but not every loan officer does that. And so things like, don't get right into the loan conversation. What loan do you want? Ask questions like, what are your goals? What do you want to accomplish in 5 years? And when you present options, present them in a way that helps the family accomplish their goals. One question I like a lot, and I hear some of the best loan officers ask it, is, hey, how old do you want to be when you're debt-free and your mortgage is paid off? By the way, some people will say, I want to be 50. Some financially sophisticated people will like, why would I pay off my mortgage? The arbitrage on taxes, by asking that question, you learn a lot. And by the way, the best loan officers, what you usually find out is that the family wants to be about 10 years younger than they're going to be. Like, I want to be 50, but based off of the loan that they're getting or the loan that they have, they're going to be 60. So by the way, now you have an opportunity as a mortgage professional. Hey, how about you do this loan? And what if you prepaid the mortgage by $100 a month? You can pay off your home 10 years faster and achieve your goals. So I think the most important advice I have to everybody in today's market, where there's massive price compression and rate shopping is, at an all-time high, that you focus on the family's goals. And again, that's why I advocate for a total cost analysis versus a rate quote. You're helping the family understand their goals and their costs over time. Sue, how would you answer that?
Well, I think along the same lines, when you're right now in a very, very competitive market, you're saying, what is it that you're saying in order to really differentiate yourself? And Dave just touched on some really important things where you're definitely leveling up in terms of the advice that you're offering. One of the things that I've seen an interesting focus on from an enterprise standpoint that I feel like we've been talking about forever in this industry really is this customer for life piece that I feel like, gosh, haven't we been talking about this forever? But I'm telling you, at an enterprise level, I'm hearing that being focused on it a different way than it was before. And I do think that we really need to check our conversations with our customers and make sure that we don't get, so focused on, the transaction that we're not really making it clear to them that we're not looking at this as just a transaction, but this is a relationship. I want to continue working with you for your next house and for your friends and your family and so forth. And although a lot of that seems basic, I think there are a lot of places where some of the basics have gotten forgotten by people. And as you are going through that, the loan application, asking some of those questions that we've talked about for so many years, like Dave just said, how old do you want to be when your home is paid off? And then saying, okay, but I see you've got 2 kids and here's their ages, and have you looked at, their college education? And again, some of those things, are you working with a financial planner? How are you sitting with your taxes, insurance? As a mortgage lender, we're so fortunate that we see this incredible full dashboard of this person's financial life. We see how they spend their money, where they spend their money, where they save their money, if they don't save their money, their kids, their jobs, their income. I mean, my goodness, we see so much information, and I think it's such a brilliant time that we have a responsibility to take that to the next level. And I still know that there's a lot of people out there that we're competing against. Although we think, oh yeah, this is second nature, everybody does this. I'm telling you, everybody's not doing this. And so really just making sure that you're fine tuning and honing in on that craft, asking those questions, going deep on that relationship. And then again, utilizing the combination of technology to automate and you as that human being to really drive that personal connection that your borrowers are looking for.
So those are such great points.
Hey, John, if I could, I want to add on to that because Sue made me think of a couple of things. And I want you guys to, write this down, put this in your language, manage your mortgage, things like that. So if you're meeting with someone at the point of sale, you connected with them emotionally, you ask them questions, their goals. And by the way, you tell them, what, I'm not going to just help you with today's loan. I'm going to help manage your mortgage over time. I'm going to do things like an annual review so that a year from now how your loan compares to the market and whether you're achieving your goals. And, by the way, that's one of the things that, Total Expert Mortgage Coach recently is working on and rolling out is automating your annual review so that, that's something that you can execute more effectively. And again, a great example of high touch, high tech. And by the way, whoever asked that question, highly recommend that you integrate the annual review into your point of sale experience. I recently interviewed Tim Brahim on this topic. And if you go to our YouTube channel, it's one of the top interviews of the year. I mean, it was like a 10-minute conversation. And he talks about, hey, how do I, at the point of sale, win the business, but also at the point of sale, lay the foundation for the next opportunity. Again, client for life. So listen to that script and hopefully that helps.
Great, thank you, Dave. And Sue, you brought up such terrific points. Like the relationship is key. A lot of people forget about the basics, and you can't forget about the basics. And I think that authenticity is so important. Just being personable and being yourself. Those are such important components to developing relationships and keeping customers beyond just that one transaction. So another question for you, Sue, that just came in. Sue, can you distinguish between co-marketing and how agents and LOs typically work together? What is the advantage for borrowers and buyers?
I would say, co-marketing is literally where you are both co-branded on a marketing piece and you are marketing in tandem with each other, where both people are getting branded on the marketing piece. And again, it's so critically important to ensure that you're doing this in a compliant way. But to do that together, I think shows a partnership, and you're really helping that agent, go back to those stats where the person, people are saying, oh yeah, I'd work with their agent again, or I'd refer them, except for that they're not. And why? Because they're not marketing. I'll tell you something fascinating. I've bought and sold many houses in my day. The amount of marketing that I get is next to nothing. And it's like, that's insane to me, the number of realtors that I know in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, and I'm on like, one person's list who sends me something once a year. Okay, so just the truth is, we can help our agents so much by not just, partnering with them, by helping them look at their technology, look at their digital brand, look at what they, again, what do they stand for? How are they going to attract millennials? But I think literally co-branding, marketing, and helping them, because they just don't have the breadth of options available to them, in my experience, that we do as a lender. And it's a huge service that you're going to give to them by helping get them on board.
I want to add on to that, and I'm showing a couple slides and pictures of, a mortgage coach app at an open house. And I know Total Expert has a tremendous online or mobile experience at an open house. But I want to leave with this last thought, because this is literally an opportunity for you to lead realtors. Say, hey, how would you like to double, triple the referrals you get at open houses? I got some ideas and strategies. And then you pull out your iPad, you show them the Total Expert open house experience. You show the mortgage coach open house experience. It's killer. This is something that everybody on this call, you could literally 2x and 3x your realtors' referrals at open houses by just turning them into paperless open houses. And I do encourage you, listen to the interview I did with Nicole Solari out of Napa, and her scripting is incredible. But couldn't agree more with what you said, Sue.
Great. Well, thank you both. Thank you, Dave and Sue. And you know what? I would like to thank everybody for joining us today. And also, I would like to give a quick shout out to Charles Warnock, who played a critical role in the production of this beautiful webinar that you folks all saw today. We really want to make sure that we do our best to deliver quality content. So I have a favor to ask of all of you. You'll be receiving a survey probably within an hour, if not by the end of the day today. And if you could all please take the time to fill that out and let us know what you thought of today's webinar. Also, if you have anything that you would like to learn about in future webinars, please let us know that as well. Thank you again, and everybody have a great day.
All right. Bye, everybody.